The Rambam had a unique relationship with Yemenite Jewry. The Igeret Teman, the Epistle to Yemen, solidified him as a leader of the Yemenite community, even though he was so far away. How did his son Avraham ben ha-Rambam continue that relationship with Yemenite Jewry?
Well, we do know that the Yemenites continued to view Rabbi Avraham as the successor, and a good portion of the remaining teshuvot of Rabbenu Avraham in the volume of random responsa. There's three volumes of responsa. There's one which addresses criticism of Sefer HaMitzvot. There's another volume specifically addressing criticism of the Mishneh Torah, the Yad HaChazaka, and then there's a third volume put out by Mekitzi and Erdum in the early part, about 100 years ago or so. It's the Freiman Goitain edition by Mekitzi and Erdum, and that is a collection of random responsa. And those, a big portion of them are addressing queries sent in by the Yemenite community. So we do know that the Yemenites continued, they had saved this address, the Rambam's address, and they continued to direct their queries to their, who is now their accepted leader, and they sent their questions to Rabbeinu Avraham, and he answered in kind. We find that this relationship actually continued down to Rabbi Yehoshua Nugget, the fifth generation Nugget, a great grandson of Rabbi Avraham. His teshuvot, the teshuvot of Rabbi Yehoshua Nugget, are also addressed to the Yemenite community, and they actually preserve the only complete manuscript we have of these teshuvot. So we know this relationship continued on for a long time. What's interesting to me, however, is that while a lot of the Rambam's original Arabic writings were preserved meticulously by the Yemenite community, as well as the Mishneh Torah, but they preserved the master's writings perfectly. But I always was hopeful that part of the long-lost Sefer HaMaspik, which is Rabbi Abraham's magnum opus, we may get into that soon. But I was always hopeful that maybe the Yemenite community had preserved, parts of it were preserved in the Geniza, but most of it is lost. And I'm always hopeful that maybe, because the Yemenite collection of Rishonim is still, being cataloged. It's not, that hasn't been exhausted yet, although so far, no Sefer HaMaspik has shown up among the Yemenite preserved writings, although Yemenite scholars do cite the Sefer HaMaspik. Rabbi Avraham ben Shlomo is one Yemenite Peirush who's recently been published. It was one of the last publications of Rav Kapach before he passed on, were the writings of Rabbi Avraham ben Shlomo on the Navi. So those writings do contain references to Rabbeinu Avraham. So I know that they had the writings, but so far no copies of the Sefer HaMaspik have survived intact.